Did you have coffee or did you have wine this morning? You probably had neither, and you can thank coffee for that. Coffee is a hot drink made from roasted and grounded seeds, or most commonly known as coffee beans. It comes from a tropical shrub, and it's consumed every day by millions of people, and it has a really cool history behind it. Today, we're going to be talking about the origin and the history of coffee. We will be examining how it was discovered, how it traveled throughout Europe, into the Americas, and then how it thrives as an industry today. So, we believe that coffee originated somewhere around 700 AD. We do know for sure that it did come from Ethiopia. We don't know exactly how it was discovered, but common myths or legends say that it comes from a goat farmer. And so this goat farmer goes out, check on his goats. The goats are going crazy. They're jumping around all over the place. And the only conclusion he comes to is that the goats ate seeds off of this shrub. So he tries it, and he's all jittery. And so he then shares it with his friend, who happens to be a monk. And story has it that the monk was able to stay up all throughout the night praying. And so we do know that the first substantial evidence of coffee comes from beginning of the 1500s from a monastery in Yemen. After that, coffee becomes more of a commodity, begins to start being traded throughout India, North Africa, Persia, the Middle East. And so it becomes more popular. So in 1570, coffee makes its way to Europe, and it's really popular at first. It does face some backlash as there's a label behind it of being a satanic drink. And Pope Clement VIII, he actually says that it's a bitter invention from Satan. And so it's so controversial, they ask the Pope to intervene or do something about it. And so the Pope decides to drink coffee. And upon drinking it, he finds it to be so good and palpable that he actually says that it's now a Christian beverage. So this makes coffee more popular in Europe. You start getting coffee houses, and people begin to start drinking coffee more often instead of drinking beer and wine every single day. So they go from a depressant to a stimulant, and there's no coincidence that during this time frame there's more of a industrialized period, people like innovating and creating things and what have you. So coffee then makes its way over to America, and it's first planted in the Caribbean, and then 3 years from that point it is populated throughout the Caribbean and South America and Central America. It's still not very popular in North America and the colonies yet. Tea is still widely known to be, the everyday drink. This is until the American Revolution. When you have the Boston Tea Party, as most of you remember, they dump all the tea off the boats. And so from this point on, tea is viewed more as an unpatriotic drink, and coffee gets the unofficial stamp of, America's choice of a beverage. So this makes coffee more popular in America. And ever since then, America becomes the leader of importing and buying coffee. So, fast forward a few more years, and you get the Industrial Revolutionary period where, coffee, the everyday coffee maker is created, and so now everyday people can now have access to coffee right in their own homes. This time period afterwards, coffee just becomes more diverse, and leading up to today, where you have all these different types of coffee. You got frappuccinos, macchiatos, cold brews, just normal coffee, all these different types of roasts, places that they come from, the way that they're roasted, the techniques, and now you have competitions, latte art and what not you have. So it's a very big industry. In fact, according to Business Insider, coffee is the second most sought after commodity in the world, and the industry itself is worth over $100 billion. So, in conclusion, we now know how coffee originated and how it became a popular drink accessible to everyone, and how it's had an impact in our society. And so today I will leave you with a quote from Hugh Jackman, who once said, "The smell of fresh made coffee is one of the world's greatest inventions." Thank you so much for your time.